Good morning, friends, and welcome back to my painting stream. Actually, today's probably going to be more of a modeling stream. But hello, I'm Andrew, also known as Thanatos, and here I am refreshed, maybe a little after my week-long vacation. I took a vacation not just from work, but also from the stream. Mostly because when I was vacationing from work, my sleep schedule changed. As soon as I didn't have to be up at 9 in the morning, I started sleeping until noon. And that obviously meant that I was missing the 10 to noon block where I've been doing this stream. So I took a short hiatus. I played a lot of video games, mostly Sea of Thieves. I should do some streaming of that. But I got to hang out with one of the streamers that I follow who plays Sea of Thieves. I got to hang out with Ty during one of his streams, and we had a fantastic time. Excuse me, if you want to check that out. Oh, let me see if I can grab a link for that. It's Tybrow Games, I believe, or Tybrow Gaming. Give me a sec, chat. Anyhow, so that was awesome, and it's still up in the VOD. I don't know if he throws things in a YouTube archive or not, but we had a ton of fun. Did a treasure vault, Tybrow Games. There we go. Got stuff from a sunken ship. Did that work? No. Of course not. Why would it? There we go. Shout out to Ty, because he was a lot of fun to hang out with. So yeah, I had a relaxing week. I did nothing at all for an entire week, and it was everything that I had hoped that it would be. So yeah, it was very nice. Made some progress in Sea of Thieves. I'm working my way towards being a pirate legend, which in Sea of Thieves means you have level 50, what they call it, affiliation with the three primary guilds, the Gold Hunters, the Mystic Headhunters, or whatever they are, and the Merchant Guild, Merchant Alliance. And I'm at 35 or so with all three of them. So 15 levels to go. It becomes a bit of a more difficult slog. The higher level quests take about 2 hours to get through. And so I have to, have significant blocks of time free, which worked while I was on vacation, but now that I'm not on vacation is going to be a little bit trickier. Anyways, that's my Sea of Thieves progress, and that's what I've been doing. What I have not been doing is working on my minis. So it's good to be back. Hello, everybody. I am glad to be here. I have my coffee. I have my minis. And today we're going to continue work on this Gurnisson diorama I've been working on. So I've been working on this, and here's the fountain that I've been constructing. This fountain here. And it's coming along. We've learned a lot. We've learned some important lessons. The primary lesson that I've learned is that green stuff, which is what all this green stuff is not the ideal substance for building larger pieces. This is a takeout container that I've cut down, and this is a Dixie cup. And I've just coated them in green stuff and sculpted in some little bricks. It looks okay, not great. These little bits here are polyurethane polystyrene foam insulation that I constructed these little plinths out of. And that is by far a better resource, I think, for the construction of larger pieces. So my mission for today is to finish this fountain before I go back to painting Gotrek and the rest of these little folks that I'm working on. That actually came out okay. Making progress on these, but they need a lot of work. Just a lot of miniature painting to be done with those. But what needs more work, I feel, is this fountain, and I can't prime it or paint it until I've finished building it, I feel. So, what I need to do, I'm not happy with the top edge of the fountain here. So I want to construct a lip to the fountain. And we're going to use the polystyrene. So this is going to be a project. Alright. I figure no time better than the present. I'm also thinking about replacing this, the center of the fountain. Not super happy with it. It's just sort of a lump. I'm thinking about building something else to go in the center of the fountain. Also out of polystyrene. So, I'm going to have a swig of my coffee because I'm not going to be able to drink coffee while I'm working on this fountain. And I'll show you why. Man, my brushes are in a state. All right, so I have this giant thing of polystyrene, and I'm going to cut off a portion of it and start doing some construction. All right, I want a piece that's about as big as my thing. All right, so important tip for anybody who's watching: if you're going to be molding with polystyrene, especially if you're going to be sanding it, which I am going to be, I have an emery board that I'm going to be using to sort of sculpt and sand. You're going to be generating a lot of dust, and polystyrene dust is not something you want to breathe in. It is definitely not. So I would strongly advise, if you're going to be doing something like this, be in a well-ventilated area. I have the windows open here. I have a nice breeze going. And wear a mask. Luckily, I have many masks because we're in the middle of a pandemic. And one of the best ways to fight that pandemic is by wearing a mask whenever you're outdoors or indoors, or, not with your immediate social circle that you spend all your time with. So I'm going to put on a mask after I have a big swig of coffee, and then we're going to start cutting, and we're going to do some sculpting. This is going to be an adventure. This is stuff I'm not familiar with. This is definitely what this stream is all about, is doing new and exciting things. So I'm looking forward to it. Coffee. Chat. Coffee. All right. Hopefully you can hear me all right. So here's what I'm going to do. I've already cut off a corner of this. I'm going to cut off another bit, and I want it to be large enough to cover a quadrant of this fountain. So About here. I don't have a modeling saw because I still haven't purchased one. I should probably get one. So I'm using a steak knife. It'll work fine. It's what I used last time. Oh, man, I forgot from the last time I was doing this, the awful sound of polystyrene being molded. Oh, man. Eesh. That squeak, that is one of those things that just grates on me. It gets right in my head. Ah, I hate it. I hate it, chat. All right, we've got our little block. Put the big block away for it now. I'll be using that again next month because I have another project on the horizon. Let's go to overhead cam here. Welcome to overhead cam, which is really washed out. Let's adjust the iris there a bit. There we go. All right, so I'll take this block of polystyrene. Why, camera, do you gotta be like this? There we go. That's better. All right. I'm going to cut this down into thinner segments because I don't need anything this thick. I mean, this thing is 3 times as thick as the entire fountain by itself. I really only need a couple slivers. So we're going to cut this down this way. That might be too dark now. I don't know. Tell me what you think, chat. Do I need more light? This is tough. I really should get myself a saw. Lovely. Okay. Okay. That's still pretty thick, but I'm going to be sanding it down, so it's fine. And then I want this little arc here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and trace the area that I want. And then we'll cut off everything we don't want. Use one of my sculpting tools as a tracing tool. Not sure this is going to work, but as always, this whole stream is about learning new things, experimenting, trying things I'm not comfortable with. So we'll see what happens. I should maybe have left more leeway. I've got plenty of foam, so if this is awful, I can undo it at least. Or, you know, do a new one. Okay. And then let's just make a corresponding arc here. Yeah, this is... Part of the problem is I don't have the right tools for this job. But that's fine. meh. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, progress. I'm making a colossal mess, but that's okay. I can vacuum when I'm done. Okay, this is a little bit longer than it needs to be, but that's okay. Let's start sanding it down. And chat, I'm going to mute myself and turn up the music for this, because this is going to make an awful racket. So give me a sec here. There we go. Some music to sand by. Hello, Shiro. Welcome, welcome. Sorry, Shiro, I have myself mostly muted while I do this sanding, because this, as you can hear, makes an awful racket, and I don't want to subject my viewers to that. So I'm still here, I'm just quiet. So I think I want this about half as thick as this. So I'm gonna sand just a whole ton off. This is why the mask. Oh, you don't have my picture-in-picture. My camera wasn't working the last time I was doing this. There. Hey. Hi, folks. This is why the mask is, because this is generating a lot of potentially carcinogenic dust, and I don't want to be breathing that in. Okay. That's fine. Everything's fine. It's just snapping off here. Let's see. There. Perfect. Not ideal, chat. Not ideal. It's okay. Let's just keep plugging. Just keep going. Like I said, I want this much thinner. And I think the best way to do that is just sand it down. Ooh, Fallout 4. Amanda's still playing Fallout 4 too. Every time she gets through it, she starts a new playthrough. It's getting thinner. Partially from the sanding and partially from the pushing on it, because the stuff compresses as you go. I can use a little green stuff in the corners here. I have to do a significant amount of vacuuming when I'm done here. I think this is one of those chores where I do it until I get sick of doing it, and then I say, okay, I'm done. Definitely the mask was a good idea for this. Look at this, chat. It's shrunk. It's shrunk while I've been doing this. It's too short now. Whew. Alright. I don't know if this is going to work. I may just have to leave the rim the way it is. This is... This is more work than it's worth, I think. It was a good experiment, but it's just too much. I feel like we're learning a lot, but I'm not making much progress. Okay. The question is, do I try and replace this plinth, the centerpiece for the model that I've made out of green stuff here? This is, like I said, just a Dixie cup coated in green stuff. This the way it is, or do I replace it? I have to make a decision because I'm going to seal it down. Into dust, nothing else matters, only us. I think I'm going to keep it. I think we've learned a lot about working with this stuff. Mostly that trying to make small model pieces out of polystyrene is not actually very easy. So what we've learned over the process of this whole adventure is use polystyrene for large terrains. Use green stuff for small details. Like if I were to do this over again from the beginning, I would probably carve the whole model out of the polystyrene. I don't know. That might be more work too. Well, it's a thing. So I think toss this. I'm going to go get the vacuum cleaner and clean up my workspace here. So excuse me for a couple of minutes, folks. I'll be right back. I'm just going to go get the vacuum cleaner and clean this all up. And then we're going to do a little bit of green stuff work to set the center into the model. And then we're going to start priming this thing. So I'll be right back. Virginia wildwoods across a world of waste, a garden with no fences and no gates. We're building on the ashes, we're lighting up the towns. Our reclamation day has come around. We're starting over, built something new. We've been a long, long time awaiting, but we made it through. We're starting over, red, white, and blue. It's a brand new American dream for me and you. And like a mushroom cloud we rise and spread over each road and mountain range.
I can learn to understand you.
The streets spin shimmers and the walls they curl. The grip of greed, it rains. There's just one track to lead this moving train. The price of progress is a dying world. The price of trust is pain after the wrath, the bitter shame. Look up into the night. Pillars of risen, they fall in their light. Forward we run, splinter the steel, weaken the wheel. Through life and loss, rivers of soul untried. The heavy cost of haunting the hands of time. Through life and loss, tiders of home unrighted. The heavy cost of moving outside the lines. Green glow will fade, the sky blocks out the sun. The city never sleeps, bleeding the life out through these open wounds. The lengths we've gone to and the things we've done, the sacrifices, deep dark karma's flowers are in bloom. Look out at the tears, out at the faces we've frozen in fear. Forward we run, darken the gleam, break the machine. Through life and loss, rivers of soul untried. The heavy cost of holding the hands of time. Through life and loss, tiders of home unrighted. The heavy cost of moving outside the lines. Intertwined.
Hey, I'm back. Hello, friends. All right, well, I mean, maybe that didn't work the way I wanted it to work. It didn't come out looking good. But we learned important lessons, and that's what this is about. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's a learning experience. All right, so I'm going to use a little green stuff around the base of the plinth in the center of the fountain, the base of this thing, to secure it to the bottom of the fountain. And then we're going to start priming. Hopefully, when all of this gets some color to it, it'll look a little better. We'll find out. All right, so green stuff, but not too much at all. Good gracious. The green stuff is stuck to the container. Oh, green stuff. Why are you the way you are? Something that you could mold and model. Something like modeling clay, maybe? Yeah, that's the base of one of my older pieces. This is not something that I did on stream, but I have this that I constructed using a base of modeling clay. You can see the clay actually, when it dried, it wasn't cured properly, so it sort of pulled away a bit here. But this base is constructed out of modeling clay, and that's definitely a way to go. And that's something that I'll consider in future, just maybe a different type of clay and do a better job curing it. Anyways, let us do a little bit of molding, and then we'll do a little bit of priming. We can get to work on this duber. Oh, you know what? There's a little bit of modeling I want to do as well. Molding, modeling, priming. Again, stuff so sticky. I said it the other day, and it's not easy being green stuff. Green stuff is like modeling with tacky chewing gum. It is difficult to work with, and sticky, and annoying. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to make a sort of a thin snake of green stuff and put it around the base of this thing. Once I've got this situated, make sure this is where I want it to be. And then I have my incredibly complicated modeling tool that I'm going to use to make it blend with the base. Let me get a little bit more green stuff to finish doing this arc here. Yeah, I have to make a trip out to the hobby store at some point. Not to Battleground, but to Michael's. Because I want to get some modeling clay. I want to get a magnifying apparatus to work with my station here. I hope polystyrene didn't get into my coffee. I don't want to be drinking it. Alright, now, my sculpting tool. Ta-da! This is a little piece of concrete that I picked up in my yard, and it is what I'm going to use to get a good organic stone-like texture, which is what I've been using for the bottom of the model here. As always, chat, you'll note that I'm wetting my sculpting tool, even though it's just a rock, as I use it so that it doesn't stick as much to the green stuff. I'm going to be adding more detail to the ground here in the fountain, but that's going to be a later step. What I'm trying to make this look like is sediment at the base of the fountain. I just want it to be sort of the organic, dirty. It's going to be painted muddy browns. We are going to be adding a layer of water, which isn't actually water, but is water textures, over top of this once I've got the base painted. Oops. Coming along. Almost there. Once this cures in place, the center piece here will not easily come out. There. Alright, that'll do. Alright, next step. I don't know if you folks can see it, but I've carved some sort of brick-like shapes into these plinths on the inside of the model. I have not done that. That dust that I don't want to breathe. I have not done that to the outside of the model. So I'm going to carve some bricks on the outside, just using one of my little sculpting tools. I don't actually want this to be very deep. I just want the implication to be there. And I can highlight it when I'm painting. Make it more believable, perhaps. Yeah, remember when this used to be a painting stream, chat? I feel I'm a better painter than a sculptor. But again, it's a matter of practice. Probably if I do more sculpting, I'll get better at it. Okay. Trying not to cut the foam as much as I'm compressing it into shape. Okay, that's one done. More to go. And then we'll start priming this stuff to be painted. Ultimately, this piece is not going to end up looking exactly the way I imagined it. And, you know, that's okay. Things aren't always going to work out the way you picture them as an artist. And I do consider this art. You have to allow your vision to evolve. I mean, with practice, I'll get better at some of this stuff, and I'll get better at my technique, and things will look more the way I imagine they should look. Like I'll get better at making my visions reality. I actually kind of like how broken this looks here. Looks very cool. It's 2/3 done. Just this. Got some paint stuck to the bottom of it. There we go. Okay. So pretty much done messing this up. And all the damage that I can do here. So now comes the interesting part. I mentioned a while back that I took a little block of this foam to Battleground, to my place of work, and I tried priming it with a rattle can of black primer. And the result, unsurprisingly, was not ideal. The aerosol in a rattle can reacts with the foam and pits it, and you can actually watch the foam like degrade as you spray it. So in order to prime these three little bits here, I'm going to need to use a brush-on primer. So I'm going to use my black surface primer, just Vallejo surface primer, and we're just going to paint that on. And hopefully the paint itself is not so acidic that it eats away at the foam. We will find out. Let's see what happens. That's part of what I'm really enjoying about this project, is that everything is an experiment. Everything I do. I don't know exactly what's going to happen until I get it done. I'm going to start on the lower inside. I don't know what I'll do if this doesn't work. I don't think it's eating it. My hope is that once I've done this, I can spray the rest of the model. And this brush-on primer will offer some protection to the foam. Yeah, I think that's working fine. I don't think it's eating away at the foam at all. So that's good. Probably take this to work today and try hitting it with the spray-on primer for the remainder of the model and see what happens. We will see what happens. Like I said, hopefully having a layer of paint here will act as a layer of protection. Keep the foam from degrading when I spray it. And then perhaps tomorrow, I can start actually painting this thing. This monstrosity that I have constructed. I think this is working fine. I'm trying to get it into nooks and crannies that I've sculpted in here. I think I need to do much on the bottom because that's not going to be exposed when I spray it. Perhaps just a little in the corners of the bottom. Cool. All right. That's working. I think that's working. Let's keep going. Project I have planned for next month, because I'm doing like a monthly project now. The project I have planned for next month involves building a larger base, which we'll use the foam for now that we know how that works, but also involves manufacturing trees, which is something I haven't done yet. I've seen, examples online, of course. But that's going to be my big modeling experiment for next month. Looking forward to that. We'll see how it comes out. I also may, as part of next month's project, do some water painting. I want to do a backdrop for next month's diorama, and I may try to paint that backdrop with some watercolors. So that'll be a fun thing to do. I have so many fun plans, chat. I have so many things I want to do. I love learning to do new things. I love experimenting. and finding my limits and then finding ways around them. This is that area where it's all sort of eaten away. There's a lot more experimentation I'm going to be doing on this piece. When I started this project, I knew it was going to be a bigger one. I don't think I knew just quite how big. Because having done all this modeling, which was exhausting, and, you know, like we've said, I've learned a lot about how to do some of the things that I've done. If I had it to do over, I would probably do it differently. I think Lobster's probably right. The best solution for sculpting a larger piece like this would probably be modeling clay. So if I had it to do over, I'd do things differently. And luckily, I do get to do many more projects in the future. So I'll have plenty more opportunities to experiment. Probably got another week's worth of work to do on this piece. Then we'll do a little bit of Marvel Crisis Protocol. I've got 4 more minis to make for the store demo of Marvel Crisis Protocol, so we'll work on that next week after I've done all the damage I can do on this piece. And then September is right around the corner. And for September, I have another project, like I said. It's going to involve maybe some watercolor and building some trees. Oh, I have to order a piece. There's a piece for that project that I have to order online. Don't let me forget to do that, chat. Order that piece. Because I can't get it in the store. I looked last week. It's only like $3. Almost there.
It's been a long year. I know you're tired and you're blue.
One of the things I did this week, chat, while I was on vacation is I deleted the Facebook app from my phone and did not look at Facebook at all for an entire week, and it was so liberating. Unfortunately, I need Facebook for work, so I'm going to have to log into it at some point today. Not looking forward to it. Alright, so that's the corners of this primed. Put that aside for now. I'll take it into work and prime the remainder of it. You know, as long as I've got it out. I'm going to try and repair the base of this piece. I want to patch all of this. I plugged it with, it was flaking away, as you can see, and I plugged it with carpenter's glue, but I think I'm going to add a little bit of green stuff around the edge here and try and seal that up. Sure. Just throw that on the floor. This is more green stuff than I need, but that's fine. It occurs to me that my water is very black with paint. This is going to be messy. It's fine. Everything's fine. If I can finish fixing the base of this, I can put it back in my display area.
Red stain on the grain of the timber, obscured in the trees and the towns. There's a sinister scent on the wind. Time's gonna come around. The red sun is going down. There's a devil inside of us all now. There's a giant to bring to the ground. He's taking us out when it falls. Our time's gonna come around.
So sticky.
The red sun is
Ah, green stuff, why you gotta be this way?
a price to pay for all that we have done. Turn my eyes away and watch the setting sun.
This is a piece that I sculpted for a competition at Battleground. The theme of which was do something related to winter. And we were each given a pre-cut piece of wood that is 3 inches by 3 inches, which is what this base is here. And invited to construct whatever we wanted onto that base. And I made this thing with a druid here, and a troll, with a snowy base, and these vines, as you can see, coming up out, holding the troll in place. It was fun to sculpt, and I learned, as always, a fair amount as part of that project. Just want to do little repairs, and then I can send it back to the living room to sit with my other display pieces. Cure, and then I'll just color it in black primer.
Turn my eyes away and watch the setting sun.
Woo. Alright, that'll do. This is not... Oh, crap. I pulled some of the paint away on this side. Oh, my goodness. What a mess. Yeah. Alright, I'm going to put this to one side to cure overnight. Hopefully that will preserve it for a little while. It is not perfect system. Alright. Look at all this stuff I've got stuck to my hands now. Hello, Atlas. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I love Miracle of Sound, as you probably know. Alright, so this older piece just needs to rest overnight, and then I'll add a little bit of color to this bit that I've just patched. This newer piece I'm going to take to Battleground and attempt to prime so that I can do more work with that. Oh my god, I'm gonna go wash my hands, which are covered in flaked off, glued on bits of paint. So Atlas, I'm doing this piece here on the right is an old piece that I did a couple years ago that has been falling apart because the base is made out of modeling clay that didn't cure properly. So it's beginning to flake and peel. So I've just been patching that with some green stuff here, and then I'm going to paint that over. It's very dusty. But that's just needs to be set aside to dry overnight. What I've been working on the past week or so is this, which is a fountain that I've been constructing, and is going to have a few different pieces to it. At its center, it's going to have this Gurnisson model painted as if it was corroded bronze. So that's going to be standing on this little plinth here in the center of the fountain. And then around the outside edges are going to be a trio of gargoyles, which I've been working on. They need more paint, obviously. And then up here on Gotrek's hand is going to be this cute little fellow, who's a sort of wormling, a little dragon creature. So before I log off today, I'm going to paint the back sides of these three gargoyles, and I'm going to paint the other side of this little wormling. Just put the fountain to one side.
I can learn to understand you
Oh, for
much better
Pete's
if
sake.
I can get familiar
Shut
with
up,
the way you
Windows.
talk. I need your
What are
permission to
you
help.
doing? Cortana keeps triggering for no reason that I know of. I might have accidentally hit the Windows key there. Where did the... Oh, there it is. I'm going to put away the remainder of my green stuff. Gurnisson is a Age of Sigmar model. He's one of the Age of Sigmar dwarves. And they made a limited edition figure that was available, I don't know, 2 years ago. And I bought one, and I was like, I am so going to paint this. And then I never opened the box until the beginning of this month. This is what he's intended to look like. Obviously, not the direction I've gone. But yeah, he's an Age of Sigmar model, which is one of the 40k branches. Alright, so very quickly, I'm going to paint base coat on this side of this figure and on the backs of these three. So for this little wormling, I've been painting him in a pale blue. I believe that's what I came down on for him. I think that's right. We'll find out. not going for precision here. This is just a base coat, so I'm going to use a large brush. Obviously, I'm going to do a lot more detail on this later this week. So Atlas, Amanda has started reading during her streams some Terry Pratchett. She started Guards a couple days ago. And I think she knew you were interested in observing for that, so if you're interested in Guards, that's what Amanda's reading over on her stream, over at twitch.tv/merrimanlion. So I'm going to paint this fellow in various blues and purples, with maybe some red highlights. And actually, on Gotrek himself, I sculpted, because this model, the Wormling model, had a much larger base before I started messing with it. I cut the base off of it because I want that Wormling to be standing up here on Gotrek's fist. And I sculpted little claws. So that's going to be, these are the little toesies that I sculpted for the Wormling. That's going to be how it's gripping onto the top of the Gotrek model. You probably can't see it, but I drilled a little hole here in the top of Gotrek's fist, and that's where I'm going to have the Wormling adhered. There. So that's that. And then these three gargoyles I'm painting to look as if they're granite, so I'm starting with a just gray base, and I'm going to add some flecks to that. I'm using Castle Gray for that, I believe. Base on gray? No, that's too gray. Where's my Castle Gray? Oh, there it is. This color here. So yeah, if you want to see my Gotrek versus their Gotrek, there they are. I've obviously gone for a completely different look. There's a lot more work I have to do to this model. This is just some quick stuff that I did to give it some color. I'm going to be adding some sort of greens and stuff to make it look like corroded bronze is my goal. Okay, Castle Gray. once I've done the back sides of these 3 gargoyles, I think I'm going to call it a day for today. The reason I'm doing the back sides separate from the front sides is I had to lie them down to dry. Again, I've taken most of the bases off, and these things are kind of top heavy anyways, so I can't set them down to dry on their bases, which means I have to paint one side, wait for it to dry, and then paint the other side. Honestly, I don't know, I feel like I'm almost half-assing the painting on these pieces. I've spent so much time on sculpting. These gargoyles required so much work before I could even begin painting them. The model itself had a lot of gaps and stuff in it that I had to patch. These are part of the WizKids line of pre-painted D&D minis. And it's a inferior plastic. Maybe I should give them gem eyes. I might do that. Let's give them something interesting. But yeah, I spent so much time sculpting, and of course that fountain that I've been working on has been an enormous project in itself. So the actual painting portion of this, I haven't done much in the way of detail. Just barely getting the base coats done now and being very rough about it. This is a very different project from some of my more recent projects where I've been concentrating on a lot of painting detail. This has been much more of a construction project than a painting project. But maybe that'll change now that the construction aspect is mostly done. Still have the water effects to work on, and that's going to be an entire project in itself. But now that I'm mostly done with the construction aspect of this, I can concentrate on the painting aspect. Tomorrow, I will have primed that fountain piece, and I can start work on painting that, getting some base coat paints on there. So that's something to look forward to. This whole project has been a massive undertaking, but I feel like I've learned a lot. We've certainly done some experimenting. But now that I'm getting to this stage, like I said this morning, I think I have probably another week's worth of work. Yes, speaking, I can do it. On this project, which is going to be painting over the next couple of days, adding some scenery to it. So I'm going to be working on the inside of the fountain and experimenting with water effects, which is something I'm looking forward to playing with. So, yeah, got a lot to do this week. Hopefully, I can finish this project up. Maybe by Friday? Question mark? We'll see. We will see. And then I can work on some Marvel Crisis Protocol. And start prepping for my big September project. Always have something new planned. Cool. Well, I think that is... There's a hair on this guy's forehead. There, got it. I think that is everything that I have time for today. So thank you, everybody, as always, for joining us. Sure, it was nice to see you, Lobster, as always. Atlas, so good to see you. So glad to have you in chat. Maybe we'll see you tonight, although I realize Amanda's stream is exceptionally late for you. But maybe we'll see you then. We made some progress. This fountain, it's coming. It's coming along. It's getting there. Tomorrow, base coat on this. It's actually looking pretty good with the primer. Now that the primer is dried a little bit. So, cool. I mean, the whole project has been, as I said, an experiment, and I'm still learning, and there are aspects of it that I'm not super happy with, but that's fine. It's coming along. Anyhow, thank you so much for being here, folks. I missed you while I was on my self-imposed exile. Now that my vacation is over and I'm back to a somewhat more reasonable sleep schedule, I will be doing these streams again. So I will see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time for more painting. Perhaps I will see you folks in Pi's chat for some play-along games this evening. That's twitch.tv/InsidiousPie. And tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern, Amanda over at twitch.tv/MerrimanLion will be continuing to read from Guards, which is, man, I love Pratchett so much, and this book has been wonderful to listen to again. So, thank you everybody for joining me. Be excellent to each other, and enjoy whatever art it is you choose to do. I'll see you again soon. Have a great day, everybody.